structure consists of multiple components. They are the hardware, okay? The hardware, that is the actual physical phone, the physical iPad, the physical computer, that's the hardware. And then the software that we know, right? So the software is the, what is software? How would you define software? We know what hardware is, right? We know the physical computer with the screen, the keyboard, that's hardware, right? What is software?
Braining in computer.
The brain of the computer or the processing of the computer, okay? The CPU, in the hardware, we have the CPU, or what's called the central processing unit, which sometimes we call it the chip, right? The computer chip that is inside it. That's my brain, right? But the brain processing, like Woo Gyun said, the processing, what should the brain do? What instructions should the brain follow? The instructions that are understood by the computer, that's the software, right? So software, when we say programming language, we say Java, we say Python, what are those? Those are all instructions, and instructions are languages that the computer can understand. And what do we do? How does the computer understand it? Because whatever the language is, if the language is, this is the piece of thing where I write this in, say, Python, and Python is a language. So if I write this in Python, for the computer to understand, it is transferred into what? For the computer to understand. Computer doesn't understand Python. But to make it understand, what do I have to do? I have to convert, the Python has to be converted into right? What is this called?
Binary.
This is binary, exactly. Binary, or it's also called machine language. Right? So it's also called machine language. So it's binary or machine language. It's converted into binary format. And this is then sent to the CPU, right? So the computer, software, although it is written in Python, it's written in Java, it's written in PHP, it has to be converted to something that the computer chip understands, the computer understands, and this computer CPU understands. And we convert it into zeros and ones, which is called machine language or binary, and that is understood by the CPU, right? And that's how the computer works. That's how your phone works. That's how your app works. When you click on something, right? You click on Google Chrome, or you click on WeChat. What is making it work? It's basically code, that software, that the chip inside your phone is running. So it is converted, it's already in zeros and ones. It's running that, and that's how it is actually communicating with you and with somebody else. Okay. Then in addition to the hardware software, we also have networks. Networks because everything that we have, all the devices that we have, are relatively useless if they're not connected to a network. And a network is what? Is a place where we can transmit data, right? So what is the network? It's a place where data we can transmit and receive data. And remember, data is king. Whether you are in accounting, you have accounting transactions, which is data. Whether you're marketing, you do market research, it's data. Whether you're finance, you need data to make financial decisions, right? So all of that is part of, is very important. So that is the networks. Every device, every IT infrastructure should have the ability to connect to networks. Then comes databases. Why do we need databases?
Expand the server.
Okay. Expand on some things. What else? Why do I need a database?
Because
So
they wanna make extra space just to pay small fee, allow fee.
okay, let's say for example you have a bank account, right? You all have a bank account, right? Now in the bank account, where is your transaction stored? You paid a bill yesterday at the 7-Eleven. You paid a bill, right? You paid something,
Yeah,
with your phone, right? And it automatically took the money from your bank, right?
there is mobile
Where is
pay.
yeah, that pay, but where is the money coming from? Where is the data stored? It is stored in a database, right? Because it has to be stored somewhere, right? Because at the end of that, you go on the web or you go online and you check your balance, or you check it on your phone, right? You check your balance on the phone. Where is it coming from? Somebody has stored the data. And where do they store the data? They store it in a database, right? I know that in most of Korea that you can pay for everything using your phone, right? You can pay for everything in the phone. I remember I visited Seoul, how many, 3 years ago, maybe? 3 years ago. Yanki was there too. And that's, and I had a fascinating time because we had a conference there. And I saw that everybody pays for everything by phone, right? And it took me some time to get used to the subway in what is it called, underground or subway? What do they call it in Seoul? Subway? Subway? Okay.
Subway.
Okay. So it's called subway, and in London it's called underground. Okay. In DC, in Washington DC, it's called the metro. It's the same thing. All of them are the same. And I remember getting lost in the subway one time. I wanted to go out of the subway, but I just kept coming back inside. So I didn't know what, I was looking at the wrong directions. All the directions are fantastic there, but that was my mistake. And then once I knew it, it was fantastic that, they're so well connected. Okay, so databases are needed because data has to be stored. So we want to store data, that's why we need databases. Then we have IT services, okay, which basically provide things for the organization, or they create IT products for other places. What are those? The IT services are like developing information systems, right? For example, if I want to create an accounting system for Mengjun, wants an accounting system. She wants to keep a track of her client transactions. And I want to develop a system. So I'm an IT person. I can design software that can help her with the accounting. Or I can design software that can help Youngji with her market research. Now those are IT services we provide as a service to the community, to the business. So that's why IT is becoming very important, because it's already inside every field. Whether you choose marketing as a major, finance as a major, accounting as a major, there's always a portion of it is going to be IT. And we know that because we are carrying phones, we have laptops, we have iPads, and we have all these tablets around, and all of them are providing us with data and allowing us to do some things, some functions. Okay, so in addition to developing the information systems, we all have to manage the risk, the security risk, as well as we have to manage data. Okay. Any questions so far? Okay, very good.